Next, I want to work with the lids to create the effect of eyelashes. I've pre-selected all of the polygons right at the edge of the lids, and from that I'm going to create a hair object. Now, the real trick when you're dealing with lashes is to minimize the effect of the hairs that are sitting atop the point inside of the polygon. So what we want to work with are more of the tips right at the edge of the eyelash itself. So if I go back and select the hairs, I can select the tips of the hairs that correspond to those hairs that are sitting inside the main geometry of the lash, and I can cut them. So if I cut a hair, actually I'm probably going to need to select the points. It'll be easier this way. Actually, I'll select the points right at the base. Actually, you can cut the hair from the points, realizing that cutting the hair by the tip is sort of useless because we actually need to define where our cut point is. So I believe there's one more hair I need to select. This guy right here. Okay, if I cut the hairs now, there we go. I've now minimized the importance of these other hairs and placed more emphasis on the hairs that are actually right at the tip of the eyelash. I'll actually go back into a point mode and select this hair as well and just do a cut on it. So I can do the same thing over here. Just grab the tips. And here. And also make sure I grab the tip on this hair and do a one level cut there. Notice when you cut, you actually do leave a little bit of stubble or a little nub. The next thing I'm going to do then is grab all of the tips, short and long, and stretch them straight out in front of me. At this point, I can take the remaining hairs that I've got, the long hairs, I can scale them in a little bit because we don't want our eyelashes to be too long. And if I hit Control A and select all of my hairs, the next thing I'm going to do, if I just go back to a view mode, is translate the hairs up in Y, which is going to give me a bit of a curl to my lashes. In fact, I could do something like that. There we go. And if you needed to, you could even come in and do a little bit of modeling on the hairs themselves using the M tool and just giving each hair its own direction that it can move in. This hair here looks like it needs cutting. Just do a cut there. And I'll do a little bit of model motion. And try and get a bit of breakup here. Remember to freeze the modeling stack when we're done. If I press Enter and switch from guide hairs mode to render hairs, we can see now that we've got a thin strip of eyelashes. Now I've got far too many hairs, especially if I move up to 100% of 6,500 hairs. So I'm really going to want to take that down to maybe, let's try 400. And then I'll also make sure that the hairs around the eyelashes are much thinner than what I currently have. So under the Effects tab, under Thickness, I can make sure that the roots and the tips are also quite a bit thinner. So we'll use thicknesses of maybe 0.4 and 0.25. And I'll also increase the number of hairs here to about 600. The color of these eyelashes should pretty much be the same as my hair, maybe even a little darker. Do some black eyelashes. So I'll make sure I jump in to the Materials Manager. I'll make sure I've got a brand new material. So if I say who uses material 2, it's my hair object, so this is my eyelashes. I don't have this material. Let me delete that material. And in the hair renderer for this object, I'll make sure that I set the hair color to almost totally black. Same thing for the lash color as well, the specular color. So now when I draw a render region, the character should look a little more presentable. I'll just give it a little bit of time to render. And you can see how those lashes start to play a bit of a role in the shading around the eyes. I could probably use a few more hairs, or even make the hairs just a little bit longer. But again, this isn't looking too bad. Maybe the last thing I'll finish up with is a little bit of beard stubble.